Welcome to another episode, Rise and Thrive with a Purpose. And I always like to start by saying that there's two important days in life, the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. I'm your host, Yisbel, Bera. And today, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited because I have Brent Gove with us. I can say so much about him, but welcome, Brent. How are you?
I'm doing great, Yisbel. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Phenomenal. Now that we have you here on this episode, I know there's a lot of things to say about you. But one of the things that I can say about you that you are a role model, someone that love God and love family. That like your career is being impressive, selling over 4,000 homes. Being the number one worldwide agent at Remax, being the number one Sacramento, and now you have an organization with over 40,000 agents in ESP. That's wow, that's incredible. If you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, and thank you so much again for being here.
Oh yeah, man. Great to be here, Yisbel. And yeah, hey man, I'm just like anybody else. I'm trying to stay married. I've been married 35 years now, and it's going great. We're doing great. But that's wonderful. We have 8 children, 5 of our own, and some friends of ours passed away and left us twin 13-year-olds and a 15-year-old, and that was 8, 9 years
That
ago.
you have an amazing family. I had
Yeah, eight beautiful kids now, and so they're all 21 to 32 and starting to get married and all that good stuff. Live in Puerto Rico and loving that. And yeah, life's good, man.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yes, I mean your leadership and your career is something impressive. And there's a few questions that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking to inspire the audience, showing that we are normal human with a decision making and a growth mindset. Having a mindset of growth and strong leadership is so important, especially to be. It's part of being successful, you know. Now, I wanted to ask you is that how do you stay grounded? One thing I can recognize about you, you're so humble. Every time I go to your events, like you're so accessible. How can you stay grounded and humble?
Well, I mean, you said it earlier, man. It's Jesus, man. It's the Lord. It's you read the Bible says, be humble and he'll lift us up. And if we're prideful, prideful people fall. And man, I've been prideful before and I've fallen and made mistakes and had to repent and learn from it. And I am by no means Mr. Perfect. And sometimes I still get prideful and I do things that are wrong. But I think, you know, I've made so many mistakes. I've failed so many times. My pastor always says, never trust a man who doesn't walk with a limp. And so, I've got the scars on my body, been there, done that. And I'm not overly impressed with myself. I'm just a guy, like I said, trying to stay married, trying to be a good dad, a good husband, to be a leader in my community and do the best I can. And that is it. And so I don't know, man. I'm just, pushing forward and doing my best to love people and show up in life.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And is there any, I'm pretty sure there's many with all the experience you have in the leadership, but what is one leadership lesson that you learn the hard way, if there's any, or any
Oh,
leadership lesson that you can share with us?
man, there's a million there. But one is, the fact that, well, I'm not good at finances. I'm not good at investing money. I'm not good at CPA and Excel spreadsheets, and that's just not me. And so, I had people who did that for me, but they did an okay job. And I've always made a lot of money, but and I think it's an excuse to write it off. That's great that you suck at that or you're horrible at it, but it is not an excuse to not understand it. So I would say, be determined to be a student of life. And even though you may not love accounting or finances or investments, which I don't, my wife does it all, but I am actively involved. And we run my company with a model called Profit First, and you decide what you want to make. It's like this year as a family, what do we want to save? What do we want to make? What are we going to spend? Have a plan for your money before you get your money. Not like, oh my gosh, I got this big check, $40,000, my biggest commercial residential check ever. I deserve a reward. I'm going to go buy a Sea-Doo. I'm going to buy a spa. I want it in the backyard, but it could be the truth is you need to pay off some IRS debt. The truth is you need to pay off some credit cards at 22% interest. And the truth is you don't deserve a reward, not yet. And so delayed gratification. So as I've embraced learning about the stock market, learning about multifamily investments and storage units and cryptocurrency, none of that stuff appeals to me at all. I'm like, money doesn't own me. Money works for me. I'm, put overalls on your money, otherwise you'll just be working for money. You want your money to work for you. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, but I would do nothing. And so now I spent the last, I don't know, probably 5 years of my life, and I'm 59. I didn't really start till I was 54, getting super intentional and purposeful about my financial literacy and my understanding of money. And I can tell you today, I got spreadsheets for my spreadsheets. I have contingency funds for my contingency funds. We can push a button and tell you anything. Every dollar that's spent, we know what it was spent on, why it was spent, does it need to be spent. And it's not because we love or worship money. It's because we're responsible with the resources God's given us. And I would say it's something that I'm not interested in, nor am I particularly great at, but I forced myself to do it. Otherwise, you will fail. You just study being a mom, study being a dad. Oh, it comes natural. You're a fool. You will pay the dumb tax. Yes, I get it. There's a certain natural thing about if you're a father to protect your family and your children, to be a good dad. But you could also learn from people who've gone before you. And I've learned from some great men about what it means to be a dad and to be a husband and to be self-sacrificial and to stand up for what's right and all those things. So I would say this: become a student of life, and don't use the fact that you're not good at certain things. I don't understand AI. I don't understand. You know what? I'm not saying you have to do it, but you better understand it. And then you can hire someone who's an AI genius and a marketing whiz. It's the who, not the how. You don't have to become an expert, but you better understand it so you can implement it. So, long answer to a short question. My apologies.
No, I love it. I love it. I mean, there's so many things, and I hope the audience is taking notes, be intentional to know before delegating. And I mean, I'm learning a lot by listening to you. And another question I have, like, how do you create momentum? Because man, having an organization of over 40,000 agents is incredible. How do you keep your momentum?
It was something I put in place years ago, right? I mean, you're like, how do you do this? How? And you're sitting, it's like catching a wave. You're sitting on your surfboard, the wave comes, that's not the right one. It kind of rolls under you. The next one rolls under you. Next one rolls. This one you start paddling, it rolls under you. Like, there it is. There's my wave. And you see this swell and it starts picking up. It's going higher and higher. And you start shimmying over. Then it's coming. You start pedaling as hard as you can. And you're paddling. It takes faith. I'm going to catch this wave. I'm going to catch this wave. And sometimes you miss the wave and it rolls underneath you. And the next one, then all of a sudden you catch a wave. And so I did that, 8 years ago. I sponsored 48 people into EXP, in 1 year. And people just simply don't do that. And you could, but you don't. Everyone can go to the gym and work out and lose weight. We could, but we don't often do all that. And so, I would say it's a decision, and it's your decision and your decision alone. And so you got to decide when is enough, and am I going to go from misery, like, oh, this sucks, the interest rates got me down, I'm not sound I'm kind of wallowing in it, miserable, to frustrated. When you're frustrated, baby, look out. Mama's going to get it done. Dad's going to get it done. You just get radical, you get intense, and you get after it. So that's my advice.
That's wonderful. And I always say that there's always a group of people making money. It doesn't matter what's going on. What matters is your strategy and your action plan. And as you stated, being intentional is so important. And once you get the way, catch the way. And yeah, I mean, it's keeping the momentum is very important. Now, how Is there any process that you would like to share, or do you have, I'm assuming you have system and process, but what's your process for turning vision into action? I mean, we see many successful company, but a lot of them fail to put into action what they want to do, and sometimes they get stuck and they stay behind. How do you put your vision into action? Is there a process that you would like to share? Um,
Yeah, I mean, you have to decide what you want. And when I joined EXP, I decided, hey, I want to have 80 to 100 agents in my revenue share organization. I'm going to go sponsor 10 to 15. I believe I can do that. So I started to do that. And then you get peak to peak. I sponsored 10 or 15 in my first 2 or 3 months. I went, oh, wow, I could actually do more than that for the year. I did 10 or 15 in 2 or 3 months. So then I did 10 or 15 more than I did 10. I ended up doing 48 my first year. When all I saw when I started EP was I'm busy. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I run this business that's, selling, and I have listings. I go on listing appointments almost every day. I don't have time for EXP, but I think it's a worthwhile opportunity. I'm going to make time. Winners make time. People who are desperate to succeed. I'm always desperate to succeed. I'm always want to make a difference. I always want to grow. I'm at peaceful and I'm desperate all at the same time. It's interesting. And so it's a dichotomy. But bottom line is I think that you get a vision, and then I go, okay, if I'm going to sponsor like 10 to 15, what do I need to do? I go, well, every morning I'm going to grab coffee with someone at 7:30. So I made that distinction. And I'm going to show them the model, explain, press play, and let them watch that. And I'm going to do that Monday through Thursday. Then not everyone can meet you at 7:30. They have to get the kids ready for school, this and that. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I reserve lunches. So, but I always had a 7:30. Like I don't miss. I don't miss. It's like going to the gym every morning at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. You don't miss. And so at 7:30 every morning, I'd find somebody who can meet me. People would cancel, fine, no problem. I'd say, Yisbel, what are you doing tomorrow at 7:30? Nothing. Great, we're meeting. And I'd replace them. And then so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to show them the thing. And then the people can do mornings, Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, lunch appointments. I would always go get coffee in the mornings. Now I had coffee with an agent that was from an independent brokerage or Berkshire Hathaway or Remax or Sotheby's or Compass or whoever. I'm meeting with them. And then I would press play, stop talking, press play, stop talking, press play. I have 10,000 hours of mastery. I've been talking to people for 40 years. I did not talk. You guys talk. I think even to this day, I press play. We'll talk after this. But can't you just explain to me? Nope. You got to see this. I want you to have a foundation. Then we talk. But I was with them. I watched the video with them, and I would show to 30 people a month, and 5 would sign up. So 5 out of 30. I wasn't even that good at it. And 5 months later, I'd enrolled 25 people. And you think, wow, it's good, 25. But it was also 5 months where 25 said no. So what's that? 125 said yes, and 125 said no. So it's kind of like a 5-to-1 ratio. And I'm like, whatever, it didn't bother me. I mean, I'm just looking for people who are looking for me. I'm just looking for people who go, wow, I see it too. I want to do it. And I so that's kind of what I did, the numbers. So I wouldn't even call it massive action. There's people who door knock 50 homes every day. That's massive action. There's people who call 20, 30, 40 people a day. That's massive action. Having coffee with someone once a day was more of a commitment. And I made the commitment to do it. I did it. And I only do it one time. There's like a beginning, a middle, and a finish line. So Yisbel, to you and everyone else, like in real estate, I had to list 60 homes every year. The next year I had to do it again. The next year I had to do it again. The next year, then 10 years later, I had to do it again. It's like you want to get paid on 60 listings a year. Every year you need to go on what, 70, 80 listing appointments. Maybe you only get 2 out of 3, 90 listing appointments to get 60 or 2 out of 3. You got to do it every year. Well, how do you got to market for those listing appointments? You get some referrals. I get that, but you're working your little tail off. And so I did it, 7, 8 years ago. And now I get to help my business grow. Then they told people, told people, told people. And now there's over 40,000 in 24 countries. And I just do stuff like this. And I help people and love people and serve people. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're going to go to 250,000, then we're going to go to 1 million. And it's going to happen because we're the first company on the history of the planet that made our agents partners, that made them equity owners. And we're the first company in the history of the planet that did revenue sharing and made it work. And so, it's incredible. Like, why not Keller Williams? Why not Remax? That's like saying, you know, why not drive a bicycle when I could drive a car? Well, why would you? I mean, if you love bikes, fine. But I think most people like their car. It goes 60, 70 miles an hour. You can roll up the windows. You can control the temperature. You're not getting rained on or snowed on. And so, if you think Coldwell Banker or Sotheby's or Compass or Remax or Keller Williams or whatever company is just like EXP, but maybe better or the same, it's not even the same atmosphere. It's not even the same universe. All this means is you don't understand it. Because if you did, everyone I know who does, they make 100, 2, 3, 4, 500, a million, millions of dollars a year residually. And you think, and I'll end with this and give it back to you. People says, yeah, but that was then, I can't do it. And to you, I say, if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, it's just probably you. If that's you, you're probably right. You can't. I said, I think I can, but I'm willing to fail. You're just not willing to fail, my friend. And I put in the effort, and I could. So, but I've always been the guy who tried bus benches, tried TV, tried radio, tried the postcards, tried SEO early, tried pay-per-click early, tried the hiring people from India and the Philippines to make calls, and I try, fail. But I found a few things that worked. Back to you, but that's my advice.
That's wonderful. Wow. I hope the audience is taking notes. I mean, we see, again, success is not a magic formula. It's non-stopping. Like we see your career, the enormous success, but it's because you're not stopping. You're doing this, you're doing that, taking massive actions and not taking enough for granted. It's you just keep moving forward, keep going. But yes, that is wonderful. Now, Brent, I wanted to ask you, is there has been a leader, a person, whether it's in a business level or personal level, that had impact your life, and what do you learn from it? Is there any specific person or organization or that had impact your life?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was a very successful real estate broker, and she's very driven, and she was funny. She goes, I love open houses. If I can just get my hands on them, they're mine. They're mine. Just got to get my hands on them at an open house. He's funny. And I was the same way. I loved open houses. If I could meet them, they were mine. I just, you connect with people. You're not all stiff. You're playing around with them, and just you fall in love with them. They fall in love with you, type thing. So my mom had a big influence on me. And then my dad, they're 55-year real estate brokers. My dad, he's just an amazing human as well. And he was always very giving, as my mom was, but he would always, taught me to be generous. And then one day he asked me this question. I was 17 years old. I was working at a gas station. And I don't know, you remember the story I told, Yisbel?
Yes, I do. And
Yeah, and he said, well, Brent, who you working for? I'm like, Mr. Anderson. He goes, no, you're not working for Mr. Anderson. I said, yeah, I am. It's this little no-name gas station. It wasn't a Chevron or Shell. It was like one of those non-branded gas stations. It was dirty, and it was the parking lot had trash on it. The gas pumps needed to be washed with Windex. They were oily. The bathroom was disgusting, had cobwebs. And I was 17. I get a job there. Here, take the money. They pay for the gas. They leave. It was a very basic gas station. And I said, no, I work for Mr. Anderson. He goes, no, you don't, son. He goes, who do you work for? I go, I don't know. Who do I work for? And we were raised Christian. He goes, you work for the Lord. The Bible says, do your work as unto the Lord. How would you perform your job if that was owned by the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and God himself owned that gas station? How would you show up? I'm like, totally different. I was just showing up the way they told me to show up, take the money. They pay for the gas, say thank you. That was it. So I went, well, yeah, I guess I would. So the next day I went to work. I thought, okay, if God owned this gas station, I cleaned the entire lot. There was no trash left on it. I swept everything. I washed the gas pumps with Windex. They were all smeared and they were shining, they were glimmering. The windows, you go inside a gas station to pay. They were filthy, smudge marks. They hadn't been washed in years. I watched, they were sparkling. I go in the bathrooms, cobwebs. I found a black widow in the bathroom right by the toilet seat, like where you're sitting on the backside. Ugh, black widow. And I killed the black widow and I got rid of the cobwebs and I scrubbed that bathroom. It sparkled. It smelled like, bleach, and it just smelled better, Clorox or whatever cleaning products I had. And I'm telling you, that was just one day. And the owner came by a few days later. And he's like, "What happened to my gas station?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Seriously, who did this?" I'm like, "Who did what?" He goes, I'm like, "Who did this?" I go, "Who did what?" They go, "The parking lot is spotless. The pumps, they get like, this place looks awesome." I go, "Well, I did it." And he goes, "You're my new manager. You're now in charge." It was like, your gift will make room for you, but who are you hanging out with? They make you think differently. My dad got me to think about my job: washing dishes, delivering papers, mowing lawns, collecting aluminum cans, you know, in this case, running this little dirty old tired gas station differently. And so when you approach things differently with the different amount of energy, you get I did the same thing I always did, but boom, just like that, you get paid. Just like this doors open unto you, just like it creates favor on your life. And so my mom and my dad had a huge, profound impact on my life. I was very fortunate to have parents that were in the game. I know a lot of people didn't have that, but they're so successful. Don't say that. Well, that's why I can't make it. Don't do that. There's, what's the old saying? I felt sorry for myself because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. And you could always say, well, I'd be successful but I don't have shoes. I'm barefoot. And there's other people who are successful. They don't even have feet, man. So whatever terrible, horrible thing that's happened to you, there's someone who's had it worse and made it anyway. So don't use those as reasons to hold yourself back.
Yeah, I know that there's so many great things that we can learn from your story and from that. I mean, a lot of times agents just treat people the way probably that they've been treated. Like I always tell my agents, it doesn't matter if people are grateful with you or not. Just do it like unto the Lord. At the end of the day, they're not the one paying you. It's God paying you, really.
Yeah.
People might be ungrateful, but at the end of the day, there's one watching. And like me personally, like I'm very grateful with our Creator, with God. I'm very
Amen.
open with my belief. But yes, I identify myself so much. And I always try to teach that to my kids. What a great story, Brent. Thank you so much. And to close, I wanted to ask you is that if you are able to find your old self, is there anything you will change from your old self?
I probably would have gotten into, I mean, I'd read the Bible more, I'd pray more, I'd seek more godly men and women in my life. I also would have done Tony Robbins a lot sooner. I stayed away from Tony Robbins because the whole fire walk thing. I thought, whatever weird metaphysical thing you got to do to walk on fire, I'm out. I was out for 25 years. And now a friend of mine who's a pastor and someone I really respect, because I'm going to go check out Tony Robbins. I would see we can learn from him. She's just a man. He's probably not perfect. And there's some things Tony does I'm not into. But 97% of what he does is amazing. It's biblical principles, but put in a kind of a more humanistic form that people can, when you say, "Thus saith the Lord," people can sometimes recoil or whatever. And so he'll just take the principles and share them. And I'm just telling you what, it's powerful stuff. And so I would have done those things, but oh no, I got no regrets. Everyone has their story. Mine was the story, from washing dishes and listening to Zig Ziglar tapes and Jim Rome tapes and Dr. Dennis Waitley tapes, washing dishes at 19 to get into business for myself, and going bankrupt at 29, trying to go bankrupt again in 2009, which I don't know, I was 40 years old. Now I'm almost 60, and I was still doing. Anyway, it didn't work out. They wouldn't let me go bankrupt. They're like, "Stay home and don't earn money for a year." I'm not going to do that. But I owed a lot of money in IRS taxes from the crash in '05, and it didn't catch up with me till '09. And then that market didn't get better till 2011. So pain and suffering is a part of life. I wish I could
Yeah.
say you're never going to have a heartache. The Bible says the world will be full of trials and tribulations. It rains on the just and the unjust. And, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will feel no evil. And you keep your eyes focused on the Lord and be grateful for what you have, not for what you don't have. And they serve and love with reckless abandonment and passion, and show up with enthusiasm, and be authentic. You can't fake authenticity. Be authentic, be real. Some people won't like you. Engineers don't tend to like me. I'm too whatever, and attorneys and scientists and super analytical people, and that's okay with me. They're not. I don't enjoy working with them either. So I'm good. I'd rather not have listings from engineers and scientists people. I don't enjoy them as much. So your vibe is your tribe, and your tribe is your vibe. And so if you're super real about who you are, you attract those people that are like you. And I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm sweet, I'm compassionate, I'm a giver, and those are the people in my life. And the people who aren't like that, they're repelled by that. And I'm good with that. There's plenty
Yeah.
of people that can be like you. And there's nothing wrong if you're out there and you're analytical and you're super detailed and you're like a mind of a scientist, and your Excel spreadsheets get you excited. I like the data, but I don't even know how to build one or make one, right?
Yeah.
But there's plenty of successful people in every personality style. You'll attract a bunch of those people, and you guys get each other, and you geek out on each other, and that's awesome. So I don't know if that helped, but that's final thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a great way to close this podcast. I mean, me personally, every time I get to be at your events, every single one of them, I'm a better version of myself. I cry, I enjoy, and I get to connect with so many great people. So I am very grateful for you, Ren. It's been a pleasure sharing this moment with you. And I know the audience take a lot of notes, and I just pray that God continue to bless you and guide you. You are a tremendous leader, a role model, and it's been an impact for so many leaders like me. So I
Thank
thank
you.
you for your time, and thank you so much for being here.
Hey, come to Cabo next year, March 3rd to like the 8th. March
Yeah.
3rd date. Save the date. We'll see you in Cabo next year.
Yes, it's one of my favorite events, actually. Cabo 2026 next year.
Yeah, but I
That's
think
right.
the website is cabo26.com. Cabo26.com. Check it out. It's all up now. Read all about it. We sold it out last year. We're going to sell out this year even sooner. Probably by December, you won't even be able to get a ticket. So get your tickets now.
That's right. See you into
We're
the
working
next.
on Mel Robbins. We're working on Mel Robbins for next year as a guest
Oh,
speaker.
wow.
Everyone
Really?
loves her. She's great. I don't know if it'll happen. She's super. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get her to show up. So we're working on the price of the keynote speech. It's a lot of money, but we'll see if we can pull it off. We're trying.
Yeah, she's amazing. I've done many courses with her, so it will be amazing if we have her in Cabo next year.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm again. Don't start that rumor. I'm working. I probably shouldn't have said anything. Oh, you said Mel Robbins. No, I said I'm working on it. All right. Hey, Yisbel, thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much, friend. Have an amazing day.
You too. God bless. Bye bye.
Bless. Bye. See you in the next one.